Hi guys, welcome back to Buzz Savvy, and this video will draw focus on the components of aggregate demand which play a significant role in influencing the changes in aggregate demand. If you want to acquire a good understanding of aggregate demand, there is a link in the description and mentioned at the right corner of the video. The components of aggregate demand are classified as four major factors, including consumer spending, investment, government spending, and net exports. Consumer spending refers to the amount of money that households spend on goods and services, such as food, clothing, housing, and entertainment. Consumer spending is influenced by factors such as income, wealth, and consumer confidence. Investment refers to the amount of money that businesses spend on capital goods, such as machinery, equipment, and buildings. Investment is influenced by factors such as interest rates, technological advancements, and business confidence. Government spending refers to the amount of money that the government spends on public goods and services, such as infrastructure, education, and healthcare. Government spending is influenced by factors such as political priorities, economic conditions, and public opinion. Net exports refers to the difference between the value of a country's exports and the value of its imports. If a country's exports exceed its imports, it has a trade surplus, which adds to aggregate demand. If a country's imports exceed its exports, it has a trade deficit, which subtracts from aggregate demand. These components form an aggregate demand equation represented as mentioned. AD equals C plus I plus G plus NX. C as in consumer spending, I as in investment, G as a government spending, and NX as net exports. NX represents net exports, exports minus imports. This equation shows that the total level of aggregate demand in an economy is equal to the sum of consumer spending, investment, government spending, and net exports. The equation can be used to analyze the changes in aggregate demand and to understand the changes in one or more of the components on the overall level of output and prices in the economy. Let's take a look at how changes in these factors can affect aggregate demand. First, let's consider a situation where consumer spending increases. This can happen when people feel more confident about their financial situation, or when they have access to more credit. As you can see, an increase in consumer spending shifts the aggregate demand curve to the right, which signifies the increase in aggregate demand. The impact of the increase in AD due to increase in consumer spending results in higher output level and higher prices. As you can see in the graph, the increase effect of AD has impacted the increase in prices and also the output level simultaneously. For example, imagine a consumer who decides to buy a new car. This increases demand for cars, which in turn increases demand for parts, labor, and other inputs needed to produce cars. This results in an increase in output, and if the economy is operating near full capacity, it can lead to higher prices. Let's see the effect of changes in investment level influencing the changes in AD. Now let's consider a situation where investment decreases. This can happen when businesses are pessimistic about the future, or when interest rates increase. As you can see, a decrease in investment shifts the aggregate demand curve to the left, which signifies the decrease in aggregate demand. Now the graph shows the effect of decline in investment level result in lower output level and lower prices. For example, imagine a business that decides not to invest in new equipment. This reduces demand for capital goods, which in turn reduces demand for labor and other inputs needed to produce those capital goods. This results in a decrease in output, and if the economy is operating below full capacity, it can lead to lower prices. Let's see the effect of changes in government level influencing the changes in AD. Let's consider a situation where government spending increases. This can happen when the government decides to increase spending on public goods and services, such as infrastructure, education, or healthcare. As you can see, an increase in government spending shifts the aggregate demand curve to the right, resulting in higher output and higher prices. Need an example? Imagine a government that decides to invest in new infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, or airports. This increases demand for construction and engineering services, which in turn increases demand for labor and other inputs needed to produce those services. This results in an increase in output, and if the economy is operating near full capacity, it can lead to higher prices. Time for the key takeaways. Changes in aggregate demand can result from changes in consumer spending, investment, government spending, and net exports. These changes can have a significant impact on the overall level of output and prices in the economy. If you find this video useful and has added value to vitalize your macroeconomic concepts, hit like and subscribe our channel so you may not miss out on more informative videos to come. Also, if you have any queries and requests for our team to make a video on a specific content, you may use the comment box. Thanks.